Eliana stared at the lawyer's letter, her hands trembling as the words blurred through unshed tears. In accordance with the final wishes of Mrs. Evelyn Hargrove, the estate is to be divided equally among her grandchildren, excluding Eliana Hargrove, due to her chosen lifestyle that defies family values. The shock hit like a freight train. Her grandmother, the woman who'd raised her after her parents' accident, had cut her out entirely because she loved Delilah. She crumpled the paper and hurled it across the room, where it landed at Delilah's feet. Delilah picked it up, her face paling as she read. "Eli, this can't be real. Your grandma. She knew about us? And she did this." Eliana sank onto the couch in their small Boston apartment, the weight of betrayal crushing her chest. How could Grandma Evelyn, with her stern but loving hugs, her stories of surviving the Depression, do this? Eliana had come out to her 2 years ago, during a tense Thanksgiving dinner. The old woman's face had frozen, her lips thinning into a line of disapproval. "This isn't you, Ellie. It's a phase. You'll find a good man." But Eliana hadn't backed down. She'd introduced Delilah that Christmas, hoping time would soften the blow. Instead, it had hardened everything. Now at 28, Eliana felt the full force of that hardness. The inheritance wasn't just money. It was the family farm in rural Massachusetts, the place where she'd spent summers learning to ride horses and pick apples. It was security for her and Delilah, who dreamed of starting a small graphic design business together. Without it, their future looked bleak. Rent was already eating into their savings, and Delilah's freelance gigs were unpredictable. Delilah sat beside her, wrapping an arm around Eliana's shoulders. "We'll fight this. There has to be a way. Maybe contest the will." Eliana shook her head, bitterness rising like bile. "On what grounds? Homophobia isn't illegal. And even if we could, dragging the family through court, my cousins would hate me more than they already do." She thought of her cousin Mark, the golden boy who'd always sneered at her artsy ways, and Aunt Lydia, who quoted Bible verses like weapons. That night, as Delilah slept fitfully beside her, Eliana lay awake, her mind racing. Why letters? The idea sparked from a half-remembered conversation with Grandma Evelyn years ago. Letters change hearts, Ellie. They're personal, undeniable. Eliana had found a box of old correspondence in the attic once, letters from Evelyn's youth, pleading with her own parents about marrying a man they disapproved of. Hypocrisy burned in Eliana's veins. If letters had power then, maybe they could now. By morning, resolve had set in. She wouldn't sue, she'd write. Letters to every family member, exposing the pain, the truth, the love that Grandma had deemed unworthy. But what if it backfired? What if it severed ties forever? The risk gnawed at her, but so did the injustice. Delilah, sensing her turmoil, brewed coffee and sat across the table. "If you're doing this, I'm with you. But think about what it costs us." Eliana nodded, her heart pounding. The first letter would be to Aunt Lydia, the matriarch now that Grandma was gone. She poured out her soul onto the page. The joy Delilah brought her, the agony of rejection, the question of what family truly meant. Sealing the envelope felt like sealing her fate. Days blurred into a haze of writing and waiting. Responses trickled in. Mark's was curt, accusing her of greed. "You chose this path. Live with it." Aunt Lydia's was longer, laced with scripture and pity. "I pray for your soul, Ellie. This isn't God's plan." Delilah read them with her, their hands clasped tight. "They're blind," Delilah whispered. "But maybe one will see." Eliana's inner turmoil deepened. Was she fighting for justice or revenge? The letters forced her to confront her own doubts. Had she pushed too hard with Grandma? Should she have hidden her relationship longer? Guilt twisted like a knife. Delilah noticed, pulling her close. "You're not wrong for being you, Eli. Don't let them make you think that." As the funeral approached, tension mounted. Eliana decided to attend, letters in hand for those who hadn't responded. The drive to the farm was silent, Delilah's presence a quiet anchor. Pulling up to the old Victorian house, Eliana's stomach churned. Family milled about, whispers halting as she entered. Mark confronted her first. "What are you doing here?" Grandma made her wishes clear. "I'm here to mourn," Eliana shot back, voice steady despite the storm inside. "And to understand why love is a crime in this family." Aunt Lydia pulled her aside, eyes weary. "Ellie, the letters. They've stirred things. But the will stands. Eliana met her gaze. For now. That night back home another letter arrived from cousin Sarah, the quiet one. I didn't know how much it hurt you. I'm sorry. Crack in the wall. Hope flickered, but so did fear. What if this divided the family irreparably? Eliana wondered if the price of truth was worth the isolation. Delilah held her as she cried. We're building our own family, Eli. That's what matters. But deep down, Eliana questioned if she could let go of the old one. The funeral dawned gray and heavy, mirroring the ache in Eliana's chest. She stood at the graveside, Delilah by her side despite the family's pointed stares. Grandma Evelyn's casket lowered into the earth, and with it, Eliana buried a piece of her childhood innocence. Why had love become a battlefield? Afterward, at the wake in the farmhouse, tensions simmered. Eliana overheard whispers. She brought her friend, disrespectful to Grandma's memory. She gripped Delilah's hand tighter, drawing strength from her warmth. Cousin Mark approached, his face flushed with anger. Those letters you sent? Stirring up drama on the day we bury her? Classy Eli. Eliana's pulse raced. Drama? You mean truth. Grandma cut me out because I love a woman. That's the real disgrace. Mark leaned in, voice low and venomous. She was protecting the family legacy. You think your choices don't affect us? The farm stays with those who honor tradition. Delilah stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. Tradition shouldn't mean hate, Mark. He scoffed and walked away, but Eliana saw the unease in his eyes. Inside she wrestled with doubt. Was confronting him worth escalating the rift? Or was silence complicity in her own erasure? That evening, as they drove back to Boston, Delilah broke the silence. You were brave today. But I worry about you carrying this alone. Eliana sighed, staring at the passing scenery. I'm not alone. But what if these letters destroy what's left of my family? Grandma's gone, and I'm left picking fights with ghosts. Delilah reached for her hand. Ghosts or not, you're fighting for us. For every kid like you who gets told their love is wrong. Inspired, Eliana wrote more letters that night. To extended relatives, even old family friends. Each one peeled back layers of her pain. The isolation at family gatherings, the forced smiles hiding heartbreak. But with each seal, guilt crept in. Was she betraying Grandma's memory by airing dirty laundry? A week later, a call from Aunt Lydia shattered the routine. Ellie, we need to talk. In person. Come to the farm this weekend. Eliana's heart hammered. Was this a trap? A reconciliation? Delilah urged caution. Take me with you. Don't face them alone. Arriving at the farm, the air thick with autumn leaves, Eliana felt exposed. Aunt Lydia waited on the porch, her face etched with lines Eliana hadn't noticed before. Inside, over tea, Lydia spoke haltingly. Your letters. They made me remember things. Your grandma wasn't always so rigid. She had her own secrets. Eliana leaned forward. What secrets? Lydia hesitated, then pulled out a faded envelope. This was from her sister, my aunt. They fell out over something similar. A love that didn't fit the mold. Evelyn never forgave herself for cutting ties. The revelation hit Eliana like a wave. Grandma had projected her own regrets onto her? Anger mixed with pity. So she repeated the cycle with me? Lydia nodded, tears welling. I think so. But the will. It's legal. We can't change it without consensus. Mark burst in then, having overheard. Consensus? You're not seriously considering this. The argument erupted, voices rising in the old kitchen. Mark accused Eliana of manipulation. She countered with pleas for empathy. Delilah mediated, her presence a steady force. This isn't about money. It's about acknowledging Eli as family. By night's end, no resolution but seeds of doubt planted. Eliana lay awake in the guest room, Delilah beside her. Did I push too far? She whispered. Delilah kissed her forehead. You pushed for what's right. That's never too far. But as days passed, backlash grew. Cousin Sarah retracted her support after Mark's pressure. A family friend called, condemning the letters as divisive. Eliana's resolve wavered. The emotional toll mounted. Sleepless nights, strained conversations with Delilah. One evening, Delilah confessed her own fears. I love you, Eli, but this fight, it's consuming you. What if we walk away? Eliana's chest tightened. Was Delilah doubting them? You want to give up? No, Delilah said quickly. But I see the hurt it's causing. Is the inheritance worth our peace? The question haunted Eliana. That night, she drafted a letter to Delilah, pouring out her vulnerabilities. The fear of losing her, the drive to prove their love valid. But she didn't send it, tucking it away instead. A breakthrough came unexpectedly. A letter from Uncle Tom, long estranged. Your words remind me why I left. Evelyn was wrong then, wrong now. I'll support contesting if needed. Hope reignited, but so did the stakes. Eliana realized every gain came with loss. Alliances shifted, old wounds reopened. In quiet moments she pondered the moral maze. Was exposing family flaws ethical? Or was silence the greater sin? Delilah noticed her introspection. Whatever happens, we're in this together. Eliana nodded, but inside the battle raged on. Weeks turned into months, the letters evolving into a web of correspondence that tangled the family further. Eliana's inbox filled with mixed messages, some supportive, others venomous. One from Mark stood out. Stop this crusade. You're tearing us apart for your selfish agenda. The words stung, echoing her deepest fear. Was she the villain here? Delilah, ever the optimist, tried to buoy her. He's projecting, Eli. His world is shaking because you're challenging it. But Eliana's doubts festered. Late nights she'd stare at the ceiling, replaying childhood memories. Grandma teaching her to bake pies, whispering, family sticks together, no matter what. Hypocrisy or forgotten wisdom. The contradiction tore at her. Aunt Lydia called again, voice strained. The family's dividing. Mark wants to sell the farm shares, Sarah's neutral. Your letters forced us to talk, but it's ugly. Eliana gripped the phone. Ugly is better than silent hate. What about you, Aunt Lydia? Where do you stand? A pause. I'm conflicted. Praying on it. The conversation ended unresolved, leaving Eliana adrift. She confided in Delilah over dinner. What if I stop? Let them have it all. Delilah set down her fork. And regret it forever? No. But maybe shift tactics. Meet them halfway. Inspired, Eliana wrote a collective letter, proposing a family meeting to discuss, not demand. Let's honor Grandma by healing, not hating. Responses varied. Mark declined harshly. Sarah agreed tentatively. Uncle Tom offered to mediate. The meeting was set for the farm, a neutral ground heavy with history. Driving there, Eliana's nerves frayed. Delilah squeezed her hand. Breathe. You've got this. Gathered in the living room, tensions crackled. Mark opened aggressively. This is a waste. The will's clear. Eliana spoke from the heart. It's not about the money. It's about why I was excluded. Because I love Delilah? That's not family. Sarah shifted uncomfortably. Eli's right. Grandma was old school, but times change. Mark exploded. Change? This is perversion of values. Delilah interjected. Love isn't perversion, Mark. Hate is. The room fell silent, then erupted in crosstalk. Aunt Lydia finally stood. Enough. Evelyn made mistakes. We all have. Maybe we amend the will informally, give Eli a share. Mark stormed out, vowing to fight. The meeting adjourned in chaos, but a fracture appeared in the united front. Back home, Eliana collapsed, exhausted. Did we win or lose? Delilah held her. Progress is messy. You stood up. But the victory felt hollow. That night a betrayal surfaced. A leaked letter online. Anonymous but tracing to Mark. Family secrets exposed to strangers. Comments poured in. Support from LGBTQ+ allies. Vitriol from conservatives. Eliana's phone buzzed endlessly. Panic set in. This is out of control. My job, what if they see? Delilah's face hardened. He crossed the line. We sue now. But Eliana hesitated. Lawsuits meant more division, more pain. Inside, she questioned her choices. Had the letters empowered or endangered them? A call from a reporter amplified the crisis. Care to comment on your family's homophobia? Eliana hung up, hyperventilating. Delilah calmed her. We control the narrative. Or we don't. They chose silence, but the damage lingered. Friends distanced. Delilah's clients wavered. The societal backlash hit hard. Reminders that acceptance was fragile. In solitude, Eliana reflected on morality. Was outing family flaws justified? Or had she become what she despised? A surprise letter from Mark arrived days later. You win. Let's talk settlement. Suspicion warred with relief. Was it genuine or a trap? Meeting him alone at a cafe, Eliana braced. Mark looked defeated. The leak backfired. Family's furious with me now. Eliana's anger flared. You think an apology fixes this? No, he admitted. But Grandma, she confided in me. She regretted the will but was too proud to change it. The admission softened something in Eliana. Then honor that. Give me what's fair. They negotiated tentatively. A portion of the inheritance, no court. Driving home, triumph mixed with sorrow. Had she compromised her principles? Delilah waited anxiously. How'd it go? Eliana smiled faintly. Better than expected. But at what cost? As they embraced, Eliana wondered if reconciliation demanded too much sacrifice. The settlement dragged on, lawyers nitpicking details while emotions simmered beneath. Eliana signed papers granting her a modest share. Enough for stability, not the full farm. It felt like a hollow victory, the price paid in fractured bonds. Mark's change of heart proved fleeting. He minimized contact, resentment lingering. Aunt Lydia reached out sporadically, her letters laced with tentative olive branches. I'm trying to understand, Ellie. Church groups are divided on this. Eliana replied honestly. Understanding starts with acceptance, not debate. But internally she grappled with forgiveness. Could she absolve Grandma's ghost? The woman who'd loved her fiercely yet conditionally? Delilah noticed the toll. You're quieter lately. Talk to me. Over wine one evening, Eliana confessed. I won the battle but lost the war. Family feels tainted. Delilah's eyes softened. Maybe rebuild on your terms. We don't need their approval. Wise words but hard to live. Societal pressures amplified. Online trolls from the leak harassed, questioning their relationship's validity. Fakers seeking attention, one messaged. Eliana blocked them, but the seeds of doubt took root. Was their love strong enough against the world? A turning point came at a pride event in Boston. Surrounded by allies, Eliana shared her story anonymously on a panel. The applause healed something broken. Strangers' letters followed. Stories mirroring hers, thanking her for visibility. Inspired, she wrote back, forming connections beyond blood. But guilt nagged. Had she abandoned her family? Uncle Tom visited unexpectedly, bearing old photos. Evelyn kept these. You and her happy times. Tears flowed as Eliana flipped through. Why show me now? To remind you, she loved you. Flawed but real. The visit sparked reflection. Perhaps Grandma's actions stemmed from fear, not malice. Eliana drafted a final letter, to Grandma, unsent but cathartic. I forgive you. But I won't forget. Delilah read it, tears in her eyes. That's growth, Eli. Yet challenges persisted. Delilah's mother, previously neutral, withdrew support after the publicity. It's too much drama, she said. Delilah hid her hurt, but Eliana saw. I'm sorry. This is my fault. No, Delilah insisted. Our fight. But maybe time to heal. They planned a quiet getaway, but fate intervened. Aunt Lydia fell ill, hospitalized. The family summoned Eliana. At the hospital, Mark nodded curtly. Sarah hugged her. Lydia, weak but alert, grasped her hand. Your letters. Open my eyes. I'm proud of you. The words unlocked something in Eliana. Even now. Especially now. Recovery brought tentative reunions. Dinners where topics skirted controversy. But presence mattered. Still, betrayals lingered. Mark confessed manipulating the leak to discredit her. I was wrong. Fear drove me. Eliana's response was measured. Fear excuses nothing. But I accept your apology. Forgiveness came slowly, a deliberate choice. Inside, she debated. Was mercy weakness or strength? Delilah supported but shared her burdens. This journey tested us. I almost left once, scared of the chaos. The revelation shocked Eliana. Why didn't you say? Didn't want to add pressure. But we're stronger now. Their bond deepened through honesty, but scars remained. Society's gaze persisted, subtle discriminations at work, judgmental stares. Eliana channeled it into advocacy, volunteering at LGBTQ+ centers. Letters became tools for change, not just personal vendettas. One evening, reflecting on the saga, she asked Delilah, "Was it worth it?" Delilah smiled. "Look at us." Yes. But doubts whispered. The inheritance secured their business launch, but emotional debts loomed. A final family gathering at the farm tested resolve. Mark proposed selling, but Eliana advocated preserving. Votes split, but her voice swayed Sarah. The farm stayed, a symbol of uneasy peace. As they left, Eliana pondered the moral ambiguities. Right and wrong blurred in human hearts. With the settlement finalized, Eliana and Delilah moved forward, their graphic design studio opening in a cozy Boston storefront. Success came gradually, clients drawn by their authentic story shared subtly online. But shadows of the past lingered, reminders in every family call. Aunt Lydia's health improved, her letters evolving from scripture to stories of her youth. "I see now how fear blinded me, like it did Evelyn." Eliana responded with grace. "We're all learning." Mark remained distant, but a birthday card arrived, simple and signed progress. Societal winds shifted too. Local news covered similar stories, sparking debates. Eliana received invitations to speak, her letters cited as catalysts. But acclaim brought scrutiny. A conservative relative outed more secrets, accusing her of family destruction. Online backlash intensified, threats forcing them to bolster security. Delilah's resolve cracked one night. "Is this our life now?" Constant battle. Eliana held her, whispering assurances. "We'll weather it. Together." Internally, she questioned the cost. Peace traded for principle. Was visibility worth vulnerability? A pivotal moment arrived at a family wedding. Sarah's invitations included Delilah, a first. At the reception, Mark approached. "Truce." Eliana nodded. For Sarah. Dancing with Delilah under twinkling lights, joy pierced the armor. But whispers followed. "They're here." Bold. Ignoring them, Eliana focused on the moment. Later, alone, she reflected. Acceptance was piecemeal, never absolute. Years condensed into routines. Studio thriving, relationships mending slowly. Uncle Tom passed, his will inclusive, a quiet rebuke to Evelyn's. Eliana visited the grave often, leaving letters unsent. "You taught me resilience, even in error." Delilah proposed one anniversary. "Ring simple and sincere. Through it all, you're my choice." Tears flowed as Eliana accepted. Their wedding, intimate, defied detractors. But life tested anew. Adoption pursuits met bias, agencies citing lifestyle concerns. Fighting bureaucracy, Eliana's fire reignited. Letters to officials, petitions gathered. Success came, a child joining their home. Joy overshadowed pain, but memories endured. In quiet evenings, Eliana pondered the journey. Betrayals forgiven, damages healed partially. The family farm became a retreat, shared gatherings tentative but genuine. Yet, moral quandaries persisted. Had her letters enlightened or enforced division? As she watched their daughter play, Delilah beside her, peace settled unevenly. The saga closed not with resolution but reflection. Was it right to challenge family secrets with truth, even if it shattered bonds? Or should silence have preserved fragile peace?